All right, so y'all see these cute little things right here? Well, good news, if you follow our social channels, you'll know we have 3 more of these little fuzzy creatures coming very, very soon. So I'm gonna go through some of the things that I do to have in preparation for foaling, some of the things that we start looking for in our jennies that are getting close to foaling, and some stuff that you really need to have on hand if you're having baby donkeys, baby horses, anything like that on your farm. So let me show you some stuff that you need. As you can see, that one's due to have a baby. This one's due to have a baby. They're very round. They're very rotund. They're going to pop very soon. I feel like with Miss Layla, you could just take like a thumbtack and just go right there. So Miss Iris is due after Miss Layla. You can see her udder from 12 miles away. Hers is getting close, but not quite that like significant yet. But they're both large gals. They're a little mad at me right now because I sprayed them with fly spray. So we can see if we can become their friends. But one thing that you'll really notice with jennies that are getting close is they'll roll a lot. And this is very normal, okay? This helps get the baby in position. It's the same with all equine horses, donkeys, anything like that. They will roll, and that rolling gets the babies in better position, okay? So if you notice your mama donk rolling a lot in her late stages of pregnancy, that is getting the baby situated. And I will show you how that baby is supposed to be laying inside of her for best exit formation. So they roll a ton. Can I use you? I don't have any more fly spray. I know, we were non-trusting there for a second. So I'm gonna show you guys how the baby, oh, here's a baby. This is not about you, you're already gone. So technically, when they get really close to foaling, they'll actually get more narrow. So their stomach will get more narrow this way, but they'll get really deep. And what is happening is their back legs will actually be down here at the point. So it'll make her belly really triangular here. So it's like, are you pregnant, Ziggy? You getting your baby in position? Little boy. He has to roll on top of everybody. So back legs are here, comes up to the baby's rump, back, and its feet and head are shooting this way. So it's laying like a Superman out the back. So the front feet should be here with the head. So it's laying in like a 7 shape or an L shape in her stomach. So that is the way, that's why she gets more narrow the closer to delivery, and the more that she rolls and gets that baby in position, because the back legs shoot down and the baby lays in an L shape to get ready to make its exit, okay? So those are just a couple things. The other thing that we really, really monitor is their udder, okay? Her bag, her udder, her mammary glands, okay? So you'll look at their mammary and you'll see how filled out they get. This is not even very full. So when she gets really close to foaling, her bag or her udder will get very, very hard. It's pretty soft right now, okay? Which is why she's still out and not in a stall. So, you know, that'll get really hard. She'll get really deep. And, you know, these are all things to really look for. The other thing that happens is her stool or her number 2s get really loose because her body's flushing out and making ready for the baby to make its exit. So, what are some things that we need for foaling? Let me show you. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the absolute crucial things that you need to have on hand if you're expecting a baby donkey, baby horse, equine of any kind, really the goats too in some capacity. The first thing is iodine, okay? The best thing that I have found to put this in, y'all help them, is either a shot glass or a little plastic like condiment cup where you can pour it in and you can put it over that umbilical stump where the baby's umbilical cord was. Once it breaks off naturally, do not cut an equine baby's umbilical cord. It will seal off and snap off on its own when either the mom stands up or the baby's moving around. You don't want to cut it because you can make them hemorrhage. You can also, I also keep dental floss. I know it's really weird, not for my teeth in the barn. I keep dental floss so that if the baby does start to bleed from its umbilical stub, we tie it off really tight and like really fast. So then the next thing you do is dip its umbilical stump in iodine, because that is the only open wound that your baby donkey or baby horse will have. And we need to keep it really sterile so they don't get an infection in their umbilical cord. So iodine, shot glass, condiment cup, anything like that, slather that umbilical stump with it, okay? The next thing that we need to do is watch for the meconium to pass, which is the baby's first poop, okay? The rule of thumb is, I believe, 3 hours to pass meconium, or maybe 2 hours. It's 1, 2, 3. 1 to stand, 1 hour to stand, 2 hours to nurse, and 3 hours from meconium. So, and 3 hours is also for mom to pass placenta. So a saline enema, I think a 4-pack at Walmart runs you about $3.98. They're less than $1 a piece, and this will literally save your foal, okay? So if you do not see that baby take its first poop or a full poop, so it should be like a pretty decent amount, a black tarry stool, you give your baby an enema. I don't care if you think it passed 3/4, don't let that be like, oh, I think it's okay. No. Give it the enema. I don't care. For these tiny mini donkeys, you give it like 1/4 of an enema just to make sure its system's flushed out. If it does not pass its meconium in a timely manner, it can and will be fatal to your foal. So for less than $1 an enema, give the enema to your baby. Even if you don't think, man, I feel like it's almost the whole thing. Don't question it, don't play with it, don't anything. Give the enema, okay? Just do it, trust me. And sometimes I'll give it once the baby's up and moving and I see it nurse, because the nursing helps stimulate it to pass its meconium. If I see that happening and it's not passing it like in a timely fashion, I'll go ahead and give it to them, okay? Extremely crucial, very cheap solution to prevent a whole lot of problems, okay? Towels are more crucial if you're in colder time of foaling. Right now during the summer, they dry off really fast. The moms dry them off. I barely have to towel in the summertime months, but early spring and fall, always keep towels handy. If it is cold, the tips of the ears, okay, are crucial to get dry, because you don't want them to freeze and get frostbite if it is that cold. Now, we try not to foal during that cold of the time, but if you are in a climate that you do, oh, I'm sorry, Layla, we don't want their little earsies to get frostbite. So that's the same with like the goats and everything. The fourth thing that I have in this little section is a thermometer, okay? FYI, if this is being used for your animals, write donkey thermometer on the case, because nobody wants to put this in their mouth, okay? Because it goes up the rectum to take temperature. Why this is important? Okay, so say your baby's doing great and a couple of days after it's born, it's looking a little questionable, it's looking a little droopy. Definitely take its temperature. This is the easiest way to know if everything that's going on is okay. Very quick, easy check. I recommend getting the fastest thermometer you can. This is an 8-second one, because you gotta stick it in there and wait for the beep. So if you're waiting for 60 seconds, you're gonna be in for maybe a tiny rodeo doing that. So definitely get like a really fast thermometer, write on it with a Sharpie, donkey, do not put in mouth, and keep this in your barn. So these are just like a few of what I feel like is the most crucial things to have on hand if you are foaling, you're having baby donkeys, you have pregnant mamas, especially with the pregnant moms. You can get pH strips and check their milk and different things like that. If you want, you can have other like supplements on hand if you notice that they're getting like a little underweight while nursing their babies and stuff, but that usually comes like later, not like initially. This is for like imminent foaling time. So like a pH strip, you can check mom's milk, kind of see where she's at with delivery and stuff like that. But iodine, enemas, thermometer, and towels, the most basic things that you can get that can literally be life-saving to your foal. So anyhow, those are just things that I super recommend to have on hand. I keep them in bulk and in stock. Like if I think that is only 1/4 of the way full, like my iodine, I will go buy a brand new bottle and stick it in my cabinet so that I literally always have it. So I hope this was helpful if you guys are expecting foals, as to what you need to prepare for them. And then we'll talk about like the stall. So like when we set up like a foaling stall, some things I really recommend is having a camera, because these girls, they're a little tricky. If you start really like popping in and staring at them and seeing what's going on, they can stop early labor, okay? I don't know if anybody knows that. So like if they're disturbed, they can basically say, oh, nothing's happening. I'm gonna go eat my hay. There's nothing to see here. And then the next thing you know, she was actually in labor, okay? So a really good outdoor camera, Wi-Fi camera, Ring doorbell camera, I don't care. I use Wise cameras that are Wi-Fi, okay, to spy on my donkeys. And I'll literally just sit there at 2 o'clock in the morning and just stare at them on the camera so that I know exactly what's happening. That is super important. And usually the first part of labor, I just let them do it on their own if I'm watching them on the camera. If I notice anything weird, I immediately, like I will be watching the camera on the outside of the barn so that I can jump in and help if needed. But I kind of leave them alone because I want them to like progress and do stuff naturally on their own. So camera for sure, very helpful. The stalls, I usually just do shavings. I find that it's way cleaner to do shavings in their stalls. Some people use straw. Straw is kind of like hit or miss. I find it's really hard for the babies to get their footing in straw. It's like their feet are stuck or they're just not like able to move as easily, like when they're trying to learn to stand. Like the shavings seem a lot more like compatible for their tiny little legs. And I don't find that I use the large flake shavings though. I don't use the fine dust like shavings. I use the large flakes. And I find that's pretty good for them to get their traction and really get their legs about them to move around. Are you gonna wipe yourself off with that? You're such a big help. So I don't see anything wrong with it. Just make sure it's not the fine dust shavings and you're good. And then of course mama's gonna need lots of hay, fresh water. Sometimes I'll give them electrolytes in their water if it's really hot. You guys are just such big helps. We love that. They're like, this is not my food and it is almost dinner time. So, and then one thing in the summer that I do for the moms in the stalls is I put fans in there just so that they they have some airflow in there, especially if they're really big and pregnant like these girls are. They have free access to the barn right now with fans so they can stand in there with a nice breeze. Sorry, I'm distracted. I think y'all would be too if you were here. You got just such a big helper. Look at you. You're such a big helper. So, anywho, those are just some of the things that I can give you and talk about with donkeys that are really close to foaling, or horses. But I obviously have miniature donkeys. But it works for about any kind of equine. So yes, the 3-2-1 rule, the baby should stand in an hour, the baby should nurse within 2 hours, and the baby should pass their meconium in 3 hours, and mom should pass her placenta in 3 hours. So 3-2-1. It's a really simple rule. And another crucial thing that everybody needs to have is their vet's number on their phone, ready to call for an emergency, okay? Retained placenta, stuck baby, malpositioned baby. The quicker you can have your vet here and call them, the better chance you have at saving your Jenny or your horse and the foal, okay? If something looks weird and it looks like something, like I foaled a lot of donkeys. If something looks strange, the first thing I'm going to do is call the vet. I don't care. Have Josh call the vet. I don't know. This is not right. Call the vet. Call the vet immediately because the faster you call them, the faster that they will get here. And then 24 hours, within 24 hours of the baby being born, I always have IgG drawn. Okay, it's a blood test to make sure that the baby got enough colostrum and can start out life properly. So, anywho, those are very crucial. Always call your vet if something's weird and get your baby tested after it's born. So, I hope that's helpful. And I hope you all stay tuned because I think we're going to have babies very, 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 very soon. Well, we have babies, but we'll have new babies very soon that are cooking in these tummies, like right here. Look at that belly. And then obviously, look at this belly. My goodness, Layla is a large. Is a large. She's over it too. Fully over it. She's like done. All right, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you guys love these videos as much as we love making them for you. That would really help us out if you could hit the subscribe button. I hope you all enjoyed this. It just kind of gives you all an overview of kind of what you need if you're expecting your own little bundle of joy in the form of an equine. So I hope you guys stay tuned. We have something really fun planned for our next video, and I can't wait to share it with y'all.